Welcome back. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show live from Enugu, Nigeria. Now, there is palpable panic in Anambra State following a recent attack by unidentified gunmen in Ekwulobia, in Aguata local government area of Anambra State. Lots of residents are panicking, wondering what really took place, as we're seeing no less than 4, according to eyewitnesses, confirmed dead. Let's take a look at how this played out, the sporadic gunshots that happened in broad daylight. Do take a look. I mean, you're seeing the footage right now covered by eyewitnesses around that area. We saw, an individual, a man looking, it was dead in a tricycle. We also saw another dead in a shop nearby. So we saw 2, but eyewitnesses are saying that 4 people have been confirmed dead. I mean, facts are still very much unclear, which is why right now we're going to be having an exclusive interview with Anambra State Commissioner for Information, Dr. Mefor. Dr. Mefor, thank you so much for responding to our urgent call. Thank you once again.
Me?
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Mefor. I said thank you once again for responding to our urgent engagement request. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So we're seeing, concerning developments. Yes, go ahead. Please speak to us about these concerning developments.
Yes, 2 quick corrections. What we confirmed, the figure we confirmed as dead, 2, not 4. That is 1. Then number 2, it was a shootout between our joint security operatives, Operation Udogachi, right, led by the Nigeria Police Force, Anambra State Command, and they confronted the hoodlums and criminals in the Oko and Ekwulobia axis. The shootout actually happened at Ekwulobia. So it's not armed bandits attacking innocent the Anambra. No, it was a confrontation between the armed criminals and the Operation Udogachi, led by the Nigeria Police Force, Anambra State Command. This is very important. And 2 persons died, and it was quite unfortunate. But again, if you understand the level of insecurity that has been pervading in the state before the introduction of Operation Udogachi and Aguata, you will understand that insecurity cannot go away overnight. So we still have pockets of these armed hoodlums. Some are still in the camps in the bush, and we are clearing them, and they are mounting resistance here and there, as the Oko Ekwulobia confrontation yesterday showed. Yes, the police is on top of it. Operation Udogachi is on top of it, and they are winning the war. That's the much I can say. You said panic. Well, maybe when it happened there was, but people are going about their normal business in Anambra. Even that yesterday around Ekwulobia, and it's important that this point is stressed, that the police, the Aguata Chamber, Operation Udogachi, they are the ones confronting and defeating these armed hoodlums, and they are reducing in numbers by the day, and that is what is expected. So we know that sooner than later, Anambra will fully regain it's lost their status as the safest state in Nigeria.
Okay, well, it's great that you cleared this and, gave this rightful and salient information and put it out there. But my question is, this information you're giving out right now, are they in the public sphere? Because the public, they are running around or away with some other information, thinking that maybe this is an attack from unknown gunmen. And so my question is, this information you're giving out right now, are they domiciled there in the public space so people could actually ascertain literally what happened and the right information?
Yes, good question. Yes, the Nigeria Police Force Anambra State Command issued a statement yesterday, clearly explaining what happened and the number of casualties. I will share the press release with you, issued by the police PRO, Tochukwu Ikenga, SP, issued it yesterday, and it's out there, it's been circulated for people to know that what happened was not an attack, but a confrontation between the combined security agencies operation that we popularly call Operation Udogache here in Anambra, and the armed hoodlums. And the two people they killed is unfortunate, and one cannot explain why they had to shoot somebody in a keke or whether it was a crossfire, and one other person, the two particularly, and I don't know whether it was, did I say they were trying to make a statement by doing that because it was totally uncalled for. They should have faced what faced them.
Okay, two questions I have, Dr. Mefor. How can we confirm that operatives of Operation Udogache were on ground? Because eyewitnesses seem to not be highlighting that particular perspective that you have just brought in. How can we confirm it? And secondly, have any arrests whatsoever been made as we're still talking about these unidentified gunmen remaining unidentified for prolonged periods?
Yeah, well, if you watch the video footage closely, what you saw on top of Ekwulobia flyover, right? It was clearly a confrontation. You can see shootout from two ends. It wasn't, it was, the response and, action and reaction. It's not a one-sided thing. It was a confrontation. So if you go back to the footage, you will see some operatives at the foot of the flyover, and they were being held up by the hoodlums at the other end. So you can see for yourself that indeed it was a confrontation between two groups and not an attack. It wasn't a solitary attack. Because the impression that is being created here is that it was a solitary attack on defenseless the Anambra. That is not correct. It's between the armed hoodlums and the Operation Udogache. That was what happened. And like I said, I'm going to share the press release issued by the police PRO, SP Ikenga. You will read for yourself and also call both the PRO and the CP of police in Anambra for further clarification. And they're on top of it. That is what I can say. They are on top of it. And we cannot turn back until the armed hoodlums are completely cleared out of Anambra.
What could have motivated these armed hoodlums to strike in broad daylight? What exactly could have motivated that attack?
You keep going back to armed hoodlums striking in broad daylight. That is you're the one promoting this narrative. Despite the clarification that I have offered, you are still insisting.
Is it a wrong? Is it a wrong narrative that armed hoodlums were engaged in? What you have described as a confrontation with the security operatives. I don't think, or is there another part of this I'm not getting clearly? Because the question I'm asking, Dr. Mefor, is the armed hoodlums that actually came out in the first place, what could have motivated them to strike at the time that they did, knowing that security operatives would be on the ground?
They did not strike. They did not strike. That's the narrative you are pushing that is very wrong.
So could you correct the narrative?
Operation Udogachi is hunting the armed hoodlums, the gangs, hunting them down. And this is one of the confrontations. Several of them. We are on this with them. It's just most of the confrontations with the armed hoodlums happen in the forest. So much of that is not reported.
Could you, Dr. Mefor, I really need clarity at this junction. I need clarity. Are you saying, and no pun intended when I say junction, are you saying that Operation Udogachi operatives just flushed out these armed bandits and they were, or these armed hoodlums, and they were not already out in the first place? Because I really want you to redirect this narrative if narrative is truly wrong. How did the confrontation between the security operatives and the hoodlums begin?
Operation Udogachi took on the armed hoodlums all the way from Uko to Ekwulobia, where the showdown occurred. So you can understand that from that perspective. So it's not that the armed hoodlums were out. Do you understand? We're out and they're striking here and there. No. Operation Udogachi is out there hunting and flushing them out from everywhere. There is a group operating from the Oko axis.
All right.
A mixture of hoodlums and cultists and so on and so forth. That's it. And they have to be flushed out. That is the mandate given to Operation Udogachi. And they have been on top of it. They chased them from Oko to Ekwulobia, where the final showdown took place.
Oh, at what point in the hot pursuit were the two individuals that you have confirmed through that release killed? At what point were they killed at Ekwulobia during the hot pursuit?
It was at Ekwulobia.
So who shot who and when?
The hoodlums. The hoodlums, turned on somebody in Keke, and there's one other person in a shop.
Why would they turn to defenseless individuals during a hot pursuit?
How am I supposed to know? I'm not a part of them.
Because the question, if they're being chased by operatives of Operation Udogachi, I think the last thing on the mind of the hoodlum would be to turn to defenseless citizens, except those citizens are in fact in their way. But the information we have is that they were going about their businesses. Obviously, one was in a shop, another in a tricycle. Why would they turn to shoot them if there was a hot pursuit? I really want you to help me connect this dot.
I think when you get across to Ikega, the police PRO, he will shed more light, because that operation was led by the Nigeria Police Force. It was a joint operation, Operation Udogachi, that's it. He will give you more clarity on this. Do you understand that? And again, I also wonder why they had to take out two innocent civilians. And they weren't particularly, in their way, so to speak. Because they had a confrontation with the security operatives. So they should have faced what they faced them.
How were the hoodlums you said were the operatives of Operation Udogachi were chasing these faceless individuals down from Oko to Ekwulobia?
Yes.
Could you describe the nature of the pursuit? Could you describe the means of transport? Were they running by foot? Were they in vehicles? Yes, explain how the pursuit happened. Because I want you to paint a picture of how this happened. Were they in a vehicle? Because there should have been, if it was a hot pursuit, they should have been captured on camera, because I'm sure there would have been a lot of rancor between Oko and Ekwulobia. Help us describe that scenario.
Yeah, well, you see, I don't know how you describe that kind of a thing. And if you want to confront armed bandits, criminals that decided to mount resistance at Ekwulobia flyover, what do you expect our mounted operatives to remain in the vehicle? They wouldn't. They will come down, take cover, and engage, and all that. That's how these things ought to be. So you just have to understand it. That is the ongoing onslaught against armed criminals in Anambra State. That's just it. And then we will continue along that path. Even they are killing two innocent civilians. If they are killing two innocent civilians was a protest, so to speak, because that is how I see it, a protest, or to just do something to get to the state and get at the state and all that. I think it's weak and poor strategy, because that is not going to deter Operation Udogachi and Aguata Chamber. It will not in any way weaken the resolve of the governor, Professor Chukuma Charles Soludo, to get the state to read.
Okay, so could you describe the distance between Oko and Ekwulobia? If you're going on bike, for instance, what is the distance between Oko and Ekwulobia?
Yeah, it's quite a distance.
It's quite okay. So we're saying that the security operatives were chasing these faceless individuals from Oko to Ekwulobia.
Yes.
They chased them all the way from Oko to Ekwulobia.
Yes.
So were the faceless hoodlums or the unidentified hoodlums on bike, or were they in a vehicle being tracked down speedily by these operatives?
the police, Anambra State Command that led the operation will give you the gritty details. They will give you.
I hope the Anambra State government will be asking the police these questions. I hope the Anambra State government will be asking the police to really paint a picture of how they orchestrated or they carried out this hot pursuit from Oko to Ekwulobia. Because I believe there are still a lot of questions below the surface. Dr. Mefor?
To me, it's a developing story, and I'm sure the last of it has not been had. We are satisfied with the performance of Operation Udogachi, Aguata Chamber, and particularly the Nigeria Police. Nigeria Police, Anambra State Command, under CP Olutogo. They are doing a fantastic job in Anambra now. And because they are collaborating with our own vigilante, which we'll call Aguata Chamber. They work together, and they have been delivering greater results, and we expect more in days and weeks to come.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Mefor, for giving us some input as we still continue to unravel this story as the days progress. Thank you for making our time to be with us and answer these questions today. Yeah, though we still have lots of questions unanswered, but it will take it as a developing story. Thank you once again.
Yeah, we can do this again.
We'll definitely do this again. The investigation has just started. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And this is saying that the hearts go out from Afia TV to all the other two families that are currently going to be grieving the loss of their loved ones. We will definitely not rest until we bring you as much information as we can on this matter. This is the end of the Afia Morning Show. This morning, I've been your host as always, Nathalie Uku.
And I remain Oji Mwachiku. Have a blessed day. Bye for now.